I'm doing well, Mike. How you doing?
Very good, and it's good to have you here in the year of 2015, which I'll get your opinion on this one. Is 2015 a big year for Chip Kelly? Is this really, and now that we know that he's going to be the guy in charge of everything, is the microscope squarely on him now, and is this, kind of a put up or shut up type of deal for him?
Oh, absolutely. This is his make or break year, I would think. He's got all the power, like you said, and it's going to be up to him to prove whether he can handle the personnel responsibilities and the coaching.
When he got this position, what was your take on the whole situation, Dave? Now that we're about 2 weeks past it all and the dust has settled a little bit, how do you surmise that the Eagles got to this point with Chip Kelly in charge and basically Howie Roseman getting stuffed upstairs?
I think this was a power play on Chip's part. I have an indication that he went to Jeffrey Lurie. Mike, I'm sorry, I keep getting like an echo where I'm hearing my own voice, so it's hard for me to talk.
There you go. Sorry, I think we might have got that taken care of for you there. Is that better?
Much better. Yep. I'm sorry. Okay. No, what was about Chip Kelly? Okay, good.
Sorry.
I think this was a power play on Chip's part. I think he went to Jeffrey Lurie and said, "Look, I want control of the draft. I want control of free agency personnel. I'm going to sink or swim with my own choices here, and if not, then I may have to consider going elsewhere." I thought it was a wrong move for the Eagles to make, to be honest with you. I don't think he's earned the right to have that much control yet. I mean, it seems like most of the coaches that have the dual responsibilities have been with their teams for 5, 6, 7, 10 years, and for them to just do this after 2 years just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, to be honest with you.
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point that you bring up, because I think a lot of people are a little skeptical. But the power play aspect of this is this Jeffrey Lurie basically not wanting to lose Chip Kelly. I mean, it was Kelly, do you think, realistically set to leave if he didn't get what he wanted?
I don't know if he wanted to, but yeah, I think he might have maybe been willing to sit out a year before he did a thing. Obviously, I don't think he would be able to go to another NFL team, but and most of the colleges have filled their vacancies already too. But I'm like with you, I don't know where else he could have gone like next year. So if I were Lurie, I think I might have called his bluff.
Dave, obviously the Eagles now move forward to free agency in the draft. Cornerback, I would assume, is a top spot. Safety, possibly in that spot as well. A lot of people talking about quarterback, Nick Foles. Are they going to bring him back? Are they going to try to do something? Obviously, the draft's going to be very tough. What do you think is the blueprint for the Eagles this offseason with Chip Kelly in control?
That's a good question. Only Chip really knows the answer, I guess, especially now that Howie has something to say about it. So I'm going to say they're probably going to go after a corner in the first round, maybe Marcus Peters from Washington, although there's some questions about his character, like and that doesn't seem to flow very well with Chip. Just ask Deshaun Jackson that. So, but he's supposedly, Marcus Peters from Washington, he's supposed to be the most talented corner in the draft. So, and if he's there at 20, I would think the Eagles would be hard pressed to pass him up. But like you said, there's also free agency too, and there's Byron Maxwell from Seattle, who's a pretty good corner. He might be. I'm sure he'll be available. And they seem to make a mistake like a couple of years ago, though, when they, with the so-called Dream Team additions with Nnamdi Asomugha and DRC. And I don't know if they're willing to invest a whole lot of money in the free agency again. I think they've seen the way, like the blueprint for Seattle is to build through the draft, and I think that's kind of the direction they want to go. So I would think they'd probably focus on corner. Maybe quarterback, actually, in the second round, maybe, as far as the draft goes, and then maybe try to add a safety through free agency. I'm not quite sure how they're going to go, though.
Yeah, and quarterback's the one that everybody keeps talking about. It seems that everywhere you turn, Dave, people are talking about Marcus Mariota because of the relationship. How realistic do you think that is, that Marcus Mariota could be a member of the Eagles?
0.
At least we're on the same boat there.
They'd have to move up way too high and give up way too much to get there. I don't see it happening. I know that Chip would love to have him, and he loves anybody that plays at Oregon, so that's a natural fit for him. But I just don't see it as a really realistic possibility. Maybe they have to essentially give away their entire draft the way Mike Ditka did a few years ago in New Orleans to move up that high. And I don't think that there's too many other holes to fill to do that.
Well, and there was an interesting piece in the Oregonian yesterday about Chip, the Eagle fans not understanding the ideal quarterback and how he would change everything. That, yes, Chip has done a good job with somebody else's talent, but, wait till you see what he can do when he gets the guy he wants, basically indicating that now he's in charge and he fought to be in charge because he's going to figure out a way to get the guy that he really wants. And I kind of agree with you. But I guess the question would be, maybe he doesn't trade up to number 1 or number 2, but do you think Mariota, there's a chance that much like Teddy Bridgewater last year, starts to fall to an area where then he says, all right, now he's at number 9, number 10, I can make a move now?
If it goes down that far, if he drops that far, then yeah, certainly. Then you're talking about moving up 10 spots instead of 17 or 18 spots. But even though he didn't have his best game against Ohio State the other night, I still think that he's going to go in the top 3, maybe top 4, and that's still too high for me to move up to get him, I think.
All right, Dave, obviously some interesting news in the boxing world. You've covered the boxing world for years and years and years for the Press of Atlantic City. And I guess one hurdle has been passed to get this mega fight that we've all been waiting for, this Pacquiao-Mayweather fight. Did that do anything for you to make you feel any better that fight could possibly happen?
No. that's just a ploy by Bob Arum, Pacquiao's promoter, to try and maybe bully Floyd Mayweather into a fight. But I just don't see how Pacquiao could agree to terms on a contract that doesn't exist. I mean, it seems there has to be negotiations between both fighters before they, reach an agreement. So the fact that they just seem to invent a contract and invent a proposal, and Pacquiao is ready to sign off on it. But if you don't have Mayweather sitting down at the table, then it's a moot point in my eyes. And to be honest with you, I have really no great desire to see that fight. I would have seen it maybe 6 or 7 years ago when both guys were in their prime, but Pacquiao's lost a couple of times since then. He even got knocked out once, and Mayweather he's still very, very good, but he's not the great fighter that he was. So to be honest with you, I have no great desire to see that fight.
Well, if that's the case, then is there any fight you want to see with either one of those two guys anymore, or they have now passed their prime to the point where you don't really care who they fight?
Yeah, I mean, Mayweather has 2 more fights left on his contract. I don't really see anybody out there. I mean, I would love to see him fight Triple G, the middleweight champion, who's he's probably considered the number 2 pound for pound guy behind Floyd. But I don't know if Mayweather would be willing to go up that high. Maybe they could meet at a catch weight at 154 or so, and I'm sure Golovkin would gladly drop down a little bit to take that on. But that would probably be the most interesting fight to me. I know the general public, though, they want to see Mayweather-Pacquiao, but I don't see that happening.
Dave Weinberg, the Press of Atlantic City, covers the Eagles, covers boxing for them as well. Dave, yesterday was Bernard Hopkins' 50th birthday. He was just in Atlantic City, and I don't know how you felt after that night, whether or not did you get the feeling that he wanted to fight again or that was his last fight? But I guess more recently he has said he does want to fight one more time in his 50s, and I guess that indicates that we will see him one more time at least? Yeah,
Bernard's legacy is very important to him, and he loves setting records and being in the public eye. The fact that he could fight when he's 50 years old, he's already done, everything that nobody else has done before. But to be able to fight at age 50, that's a big deal to him. So yeah, I would expect him to see at least one more fight. I don't know if it'll be against anybody that's as good as Kovalev. I mean, Kovalev pretty much exposed him as a guy who I don't know, and Bernard's still a terrific fighter, but I don't know if he's at that elite level anymore. So I would probably see him maybe fight almost like a going away present for himself, just a way to say goodbye to the boxing public as career comes to an end.
I know there was a lot of excitement the night that he was in Atlantic City about fighting in Atlantic City. Anything on the horizon here that people can get excited about?
There isn't anything scheduled, but there's a fight on April 11th between Danny Garcia from Philadelphia and Lamont Peterson. They're both junior welterweight champions, and that's one of the fights that's kind of like the Kovalev-Hopkins fight. It's a fight that's been generating a lot of buzz in the boxing community and something that people want to see. And the big change is that it's not going to be on HBO or Showtime. It's going to be on free TV on NBC. They signed this big contract now where they're going to have 11 fights broadcast during the year, either on NBC, either on Saturday afternoons or at night. And then I think there's like 9 more fights on their NBC Sports Network. So they're trying to bring boxing back a little bit. It's been dying off because people don't want to, shell out $50, $60 for pay-per-view. They don't want to stay up till 1 in the morning to see a main event. So this is a way to get it back on network TV the way boxing used to be. And I know I've been told that Boardwalk Hall is a very serious player to land that Garcia-Peterson fight. So that would be huge for the city if they can pull it off.
That would be really cool. Looking forward to seeing that announcement come out. Dave Weinberg from the Press of Atlantic City on the Eagles. And some boxing news and notes is obviously, we talked about it yesterday. We replayed one of our classic interviews with Bernard Hopkins on his 50th birthday. He is quite a character to interview sometimes. I mean, when you get him going, he takes over that interview, and it was a lot of fun hearing him. But happy 50th to him. And Dave, I know that night, as you just mentioned, we were there at about 2:00 in the morning. That's a late night to really put your top product on display and have it running into 2:00 in the morning. That's a bit of a long night to really showcase your best.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing kind of run for boxing. If people probably, some people can remember back to the days when even Muhammad Ali was fighting on Wide World of Sports at 4:00, 5:00 in the afternoon. And I think they kind of lost a generation of fight fans by moving to late at night. And I'm sure MMA had a lot to do with it too. A lot of people have switched over to that sport. But if NBC if they can draw decent ratings in this, I think that's a good sign that boxing might be on the way back again.